Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. I'm your host, Nexus, and today, like I teased, we're here to talk about the EAA Witness. Now, this is a 40 cal, and it's my buddy's gun. It's not mine. I have shot it. It shoots very nicely. I think it was the second 40 cal I ever shot compared to my 226, and then I shot this one. This one is completely safe. Nothing on it. So we're good there for the YouTubes. Now, I will say one thing I like immediately about it is its hammer. A lot of strikers out there today, I really like the hammer fired ones. So kudos on that. That's really good. This is imported. It is from Italy originally. I'd never heard of a Witness. I've since then seen them quite a bit about, but I'd never heard of one before he brought this down. It's the polymer frame, slide, metal slide. It is recessed down into the frame to give you that lower aspect, that lower aspect when you're shooting it. But compared to some things like the SAR, it's still actually fairly high in the air to me. Accuracy was pretty good with it. Apparently these are often used somewhat in competition. They're a budget competition gun. Its handle is not quite as thick around in here as I would like, but the back strap in the front feels really good on it. So it feels a lot like the Canic. Just needs a little more on the sides here for my hand at least. But other than that, very comfortable gun. Safety's not as bad as the SAR 9s, but it clicks a lot better. Very smooth safety on that. It's got your standard 3-dot sights. The rear ones are replaceable, but the front one is not. So you're kind of stuck with that. It's got your standard slide lock. So pretty standard there. It's lighter than I would. The slide is very heavy, but the handle being the polymer is one of the lightest I've felt. It's just very, very light. Mag is almost looks like a Mech-Gar. It doesn't say it's a Mech-Gar, but it sure looks like one. It does say 40 Smith & Wesson. That's the only marking on it. Definitely looks like a Mech-Gar mag. It's nice and smooth, ejects smooth. So over on that, not too bad. The slide is pretty smooth, honestly. That rivals a lot of my guns. This is an older one though, so it's had quite a few rounds put through it. Slide release or magazine release. Looks like it's reversible, so you could reverse it. The controls, the safety may be reversible. Can't really tell on that one. But obviously the slide lock is not. It's, and when you look at it, it's a very simplistic design. There's not a lot going on here. I mean, you're getting your basic, your standard operation. You do have your rail. The trigger, that might be the worst. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the flat face triggers, but this one, I tend to like curved triggers, but this one's a little too curved for me. It just really sticks down and around there. I don't know about that one. It's got a crisp break though on it. Much heavier double, quite a heavy double action. Damn. That was a little surprising. It's sure. I'm used to the larger. Of course, you all know that I'm in favor of the 92, especially the Beretta and the Taurus. So smaller ejection ports just disturb me. I don't know how to put it else. Just to me screams out, I'm waiting for a jam. Now, when I fired it, I had no jams. It fired fantastic. So it was very good in that regard. But just a little disturbing. Looks more like a 380 than a 40 cal when it comes to the ejection port. But hey, the competition on these are kind of interesting. Like I said, it's more of a budget competition gun than a full blown, like the Legion or something of that nature. They do have a good reputation overall, though. They're looked on, with fondly by those who do use them. The undercut here, I will say, is part of one of the reasons probably why I like it so much. That is starting to become a favorite thing of mine, is when they undercut the trigger guard so you can get your fingers up there. That's a nice, good feel. Could use some front serrations. It only has these, and these are not the best. If the gun didn't slide back so easily, those could be a pain in the butt. So maybe not the best there, but with the slide being recessed into the frame like that, there's not a lot of room up here for much of anything. It's not like you can put them down here. It wouldn't work. It has a half cock setting. That's interesting. Not sure what it would be used for, because you can still fire it. Huh. Does not have a trigger release. Obviously, the safety does stop the trigger from being pulled back. Obviously does not have that whole magazine out, trigger disabled either. When you start getting into some older guns, you just never know, especially with the ones imported, you just never know quite what you're going to get option-wise or safety-wise with them. So overall, it's a nice shooting gun. For the money, you might be able to get something, I wouldn't say better, but just better looking maybe. If the one big drawback on this gun is it looks kind of like a toy. I hate to tell you, it looks like a toy. It's hard to take it seriously. The controls are just weirdly shaped, set up in spots where it's just like, did you really need to have this big flat safety? Couldn't you just have the little arm on there? And I don't know. This slide catch is almost SIG in nature, really, when you look at it. Or not SIG, sorry, Beretta and Taurus. It's almost Beretta and Taurus in nature. I assume that's for tear down. Ejector is, it's up in there. It's external ejector. So overall, I mean, shooting experience with it, it did not shoot as good as my 40 cal 226. It did shoot nicer than several 9mm I have, including the Canic, the SAR. Would I run out and buy one? Maybe, just to have the novelty of having something different than when people pick up and go, what in the world is this? Because I've never seen anything like it before. I had never seen anything like it before when I first saw it. Do I really, really want one? Not particularly. It would just be a novelty item I might pick up someday if I found one, the price was right, I was feeling interested. It's not a bucket list gun, but if you are looking at a budget competition gun, it's not a bad choice at all. I mean, if you give me, hands down, well, it's not a high bar, but if you choose between this and a Glock, I'll take this any day of the week and twice on Thursday. So there's that. But overall, solid gun, little cheap looking overall. Could use a little aesthetic rejuvenation, I think. I bitch about the SARS safety and how it looks kind of added on there. This one isn't quite that bad and moves a lot better than the SAR one does. But it really just detracts from the sight of the gun. And sight by slip, if they'd put a SIG style slide lock on it, I think actually it would have been a better looking gun overall. But there's your introduction into, or some of you may already know it, but introduction to others to the EAA Witness. They make it in both 9, 4, and 40, I know of. I've seen them in both. So you can get neither one. These days, more people would prefer the 9. I will say the 40s are pretty cheap, and they make a good cheap alternative to a lot of the 9mm, which have been going up in price. So that might be a deciding factor in a lot of people's choices in the future. But I hope you enjoyed the look at this EAA Witness. You can check it out online, see if it's something you would like. Like I said, very comfortable gun. Just a little toy looking. Anyways, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great week.